he was supposed to be born. He was actually a big baby. He was 4 kgs. But what happened is that during labor, he had the cord around the neck, and his breathing was getting slower and slower. Then they used a vacuum to bring him out. I can't blame anybody for it. It just, I can say it just happened, and it was Allah's will that Umar is like this. Because nobody can go back and change the past. What we can do is deal with it the way it is. I cannot say if this was done, he would have come out like this, because he is like this now, and I cannot think about it any other way. I don't take everybody's word for granted, even if they are doctors, unless I understand why they are giving him this medicine or why they want him to be dealt with this way. I think parents are, their own their doctors. They are their own children's doctors, and they know better. Of course, it is not easy for people to accept it, because what people are used to is what we call normal children, and the way that we all grow up and move and eat and do things. But what is normal for us is not normal for these people, for these children, I mean. So we should accept them the way they are. I think these children have the right to be a part of society if they can. And there is nothing wrong in taking them out or putting them in appropriate schools. I would love to see an appropriate school that can take these children, because not even these special needs schools that we have here, maybe they cannot take children who have physical problems or mental problems. And maybe there are few of them, but what we need also schools that can take children after 16 or 17. I think this is the problem that a lot of parents are facing, that they have nowhere to go to. I always say that people are more important than place, as Sheikh Muhammad says also. We deal with a lot of things, and we want everything to grow very fast. So these children are also a part of society, and we should give them the opportunity and place to develop as normal as they can be and as happy as they can be. Because there is nothing that can stop these children from being happy except if we did. We don't give them the opportunity to express themselves or to understand them as they are.
When I was working as a psychologist in a school for children with special needs, I realized that it was not just the children who need help and therapy, but the families need a lot of help. And for that, I then started a support group for mothers initially, called a Mothers Support Group. And then, we realized, my husband and I, Ricky, and I realized that we wanted to actually do this for the whole family rather than just mothers. So we started a support group for special needs, families who have children with special needs, called SFS, Special Family Support Group. And I get a lot of support from Ricky in that. So both of us have been trying to work on that together.
We actually organize a lot of activities such as picnics or parties or various fora where there's active involvement and integration, not just amongst members of the group who have disabilities, but also with other children, so which in a way exposes other children also to the disabilities and to the problems which are encountered on a daily basis by certain families.
There are times when we seek help from one another. There are times when we seek comfort, and there are times when we just want to share, good or bad. And it's nice. It's good to be in that situation. It's nice, and I always welcome it. Sometimes it's difficult, but then, like we said, life is never easy, so we go with it.
In UAE, there is, and Aisha can probably vouch for this as well, there is a significant demand for organized facilities for special needs individuals at different ages. And I feel that the demand exceeds the supply on a lot of those age groups, plus on a lot of those activities where there is a demand. One example probably is vocational training centers. What happens when children actually finish school and let's say they're 18 years old, they're no longer in a school environment. They can't really get a visa in a lot of cases also, which does happen in the Gulf. And yet they are probably able to get a job or learn a vocation or learn some particular activity which could be materially rewarding, but they don't know where and how to do it, and what framework would support that activity, what institution would provide that kind of learning or teaching experience.
CP, they usually say, is caused by problems with during childbirth, mainly during childbirth. Sometimes after, if the child is very seriously ill for a long time, it's some kind of very, very high fever, which could cause brain damage as a baby when the child's born. But usually it is brain damage caused during delivery when there's a loss of oxygen to the brain. Lots of CP children who are very active, academically, they've been able to understand, study numbers and read and write, etc. There's a book I'd read of one CP boy who'd written a book of poems, an Irish boy, I think he'd done. And he'd done it only with the pointer to his head because his mom used to just hold his neck and he used to just type. So there is this, thing that they don't know how much the damage is. They could be 50% absolutely okay with their mental abilities, and the motor functions is very bad. With Rabab, I think it's been both. She's been slow mentally. She's not been able to read, write, probably the problem with her eyes and things. And physically also, she was walking with the walking aid till she was small. She was very, very thin and she was lightweight. So she was doing that without the calipers and all. She was walking pretty well with that. And then once she grew up and her weight picked up, so her muscles weren't able to take the walking. So that's why she's gone on to the wheelchair. There's nothing special at all in the hospitals. In fact, there is a very, very great shortage of staff for neurological treatments. It's one doctor who came in for a brief period who was a neurological expert. He left. And then I started, with difficulty, I found another. And that too, there's been a shortage of medicine, has not been provided. So he stopped seeing the child. There is nothing at all special. There's nowhere that you can go and say, okay, you have a child and this is the condition. So at least can we, get it done quickly? Can we go through some? So, there is no facility at all, I feel. With Rabab, I've never had this feeling of, oh God, poor me, and why did I have to have a child, like that. I've had my share of worries. I worry about her. I've had my share of added responsibilities, you can say. A lot of change in what I could have done, what I wanted to do with my work, or things like that I've changed. But I've never had this feeling of being burdened by one again very close family person who said that, if she was expecting, and she said, I decided that if I had a child like this, I would give it away before even having the child, and she'd saying it to me. So people are very insensitive. I don't know what makes them so. Maybe I might have been that insensitive myself. I don't know. But they have been interacting with her. They've been interacting with the others. But they have that amount of callousness to say things like that. They don't do anything, but even, saying. So family, yes, they've done and said a lot of things which are bad, hurtful. There's nothing to be embarrassed about having any kind of, having a child. If you've had a child, then you should be just proud enough that you have
I don't feel embarrassed at all. I'm very comfortable with calling my friends over, and my friends are very comfortable around my sister. And she actually enjoys the company of my friends, which is really good.
He is blind. We went to school. We meet this big problem for us. Why? Because in UAE, no blind for school. Government, we try, but no use. There is school in Dubai, but it is for local. He born here, but of course he is not local. What I do, and if I leave him at home also, yani, he is young, his brothers, going school, and difficult to leave him, at home. We ask, but anyway, I send him to normal school, meaning, with the other children, who can, see. For half year only. It was also difficult for him because everybody can see except him, and the small children, they don't know, he is blind. Sometimes, they laugh. In the normal school, it is difficult for him. Then I came to Sheikha Jamila. She said, okay, we will take your son in our school as a special case. Of course, he is blind. It is not, this job is not for blind, but this what is available for us. Better off sitting at home and better off, sleep, do nothing. And really, there is improvement for work and improvement also for his behavior, What you like to see? Heaven. He say heaven. He like, inshallah, to see heaven, to sit in the heaven. And he is my love. Yusuf, مين بتحب ماما أنت؟ He say he likes everybody. يوسف مين بتحب أكتر شيء أنت ماما؟ طيب هات بوسي لك. شو؟ يلا بوسني لشو؟
My son was born after 2 years of my living in Spain. He was a perfect, normal child. After my husband expired in a car accident in 1993 in Madrid, in Spain, I brought my children with me, 2 sons, with me to Dubai, as my family lives here. And we used to regularly go to Spain for our holidays. It so happened that in 1996, he went go-karting in Tenerife, where I found that he was not able to control the car. We went to India and I did his entire neurology research as to what has happened to him. It was then that the doctors first diagnosed that he's got some muscular dystrophy. But within 2 years, his muscular problems increased. He started to get chest pain, and he started his back arching a bit, which was later diagnosed as a Friedreich ataxia with cardiomyopathy and multiple sclerosis. Within 4 years, it increased so much that he is now on a total wheelchair. Many a times in the middle of the night, he gets extreme chest pain, where his heartbeat goes up to 140, and the muscles around his heart hurt him, for which he gets terrible pain. And he's taken to the hospital, where with medication it is controlled. There is no research done still on this disease. According to the doctors, he has a very short lifespan, but you never know. Doctors say it is hereditary, but the 4 generations we know of did not have any such symptoms. Here in Dubai, there is no such registration done so far of anybody who's got Friedreich ataxia. So he's the only one who's been registered in Rashid Hospital. I left Spain only because I was not able to take care of my 2 children there alone. He knows a lot about computers, so most of his time he's on the computers.
I just wish to be alright. Because I've stayed 7 years being sick. So now I'd like to live like a normal person.
It's a very sad thing being a single parent and having a son who's 18 years old, who should be with me shoulder by shoulder. But today, he is still like a child to me, wherein I have to take care of him instead of him taking care of me now. He's a very brave boy. He's prepared himself that I have to go. He's preparing himself and I'm preparing myself to learn to live without him afterwards.
I'm prepared for it. As I know, everyone has to go one day. So if I go now, be good for me. So I'm ready for it. I'm ready to go.
The medical profession need to be certainly more tactful, understanding, and I guess to know that they're dealing with human beings, not machines.
If people start realizing what special need is, what a child with a special need acts, how he behaves, they will be more able to accept this child. So by spreading of information and educating the public about special needs, mental handicapped, physical handicap, we are more able to put these children back into the society to be more accepted.
I teach art, I am an artist. But you will never see a child drawing himself in a wheelchair. Even though he's used a wheelchair all his life, he'll always draw himself standing. But when we see that child, first thing we see is the chair. We don't see the child, we always see the disability first. And we say special needs child, but that's wrong. You don't see the special needs first, you see the child. So you say a child with special needs.
Many people do not know what special needs is, and they only generalize it as they are mentally retarded. So they're scared, they shun them away, they're embarrassed to be seen with them. It is only because they do not know better. And the whole purpose is to get them to understand that children like this are not to be feared. They're not going to harm you. They're not going to hurt you. They're just there. They're just like you and me. Absolutely with the same feelings, with the same love. In fact, more so than any other normal person. These children will share. They will give everything that they have. The last thing that they have to actually make a difference in someone else's life.
Don't ever think yourself to be different. Like always stay with friends and family members. Live your life happily.